Hello and welcome to Hen Live. Today we are talking about something that affects every single interaction we have as founders and leaders, our voice. And I'm not just talking about the sound that comes out when we speak, but I'm talking about that internal voice that either amplifies or sabotages our message. Joining us is Aishwarya Pesala. We call her fondly as Ash. She's the founder of TalkTune and the newly honored Game Changer Award 2026 winner by Entrepreneur India for her leadership and skill development. Ash has helped over 2,000 plus business professionals transform not just how they speak, but how they think through her revolutionary inside out system. She's also the visionary behind the Vocal Lab, an elite community for alpha leaders who are ready to align their inner voice with their outer command. So here we have Ash Petla. Welcome, Ash. We are ready to learn how to stop staying invisible and start commanding the room.
Hi, Tanu. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so, Ash, let's dive right in. You work with high achieving CEOs and founders and people who have already made it, they have achieved it. Yet you say that brilliant leaders often stay invisible. What does that even mean? How can someone successful be invisible?
There are two types of successful. One is people who are technically successful, where they have a lot of technical knowledge, which is what happens with once you reach a particular position in your business or in a corporate, right? So, in this, what happens is technically, of course, we are sound because that's the reason we are in the field. And it's easy to understand the technical side of it because that is our strength. But a lot of times people miss out on understanding the communication of the same thing. For example, if I have to communicate very simple way, how do I convert the technical into a very simple word? And if you see,
Hmm.
most of the entrepreneurs or leaders use a lot of jargons. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I think in one our previous conversation you sent me some questions and you told me CTA, right? A CTA is call to action for an entrepreneur.
Yes,
For an corporate person, CTA can be something else. In fact, there's even
correct.
a funny example I would say. I saw this on social media. Somebody had sent LOL for a death message.
Ouch.
So that was very funny because that person thought LOL is lots of love.
Oh,
And there's no harm in this either. Both are right. Lots of
true,
love, lots
true.
of love. Both are absolutely right. So because it's death, he sent LOL, LOL, LOL. So this is what happens when we think what we say other person is understanding, but that is what we think we are. But a lot
Hmm.
of times communication is all about making sure you are clear enough to make the other person understand what you're trying to tell. So that is why a lot of leaders technically sound a lot of expertise, but they miss out on communicating in the right way. So after one point, they hit stagnation because leaders are looked upon for communication, not just skill sets. And that's exactly how I help leaders to understand this.
Wonderful. So, as you mentioned, so it's not necessary that your vocabulary or language is a skill, but it is
Right.
how we communicate, and language and vocabulary aids it. Uh, but what is the common symptom that you see usually? Are they not speaking up enough, or is it that is there something more deeper in that?
Okay. The symptom, what I told, is connected to the previous answer. In simpler way, I would say data dump. A lot of us would have seen a lot of people speaking very technical word. I'll even give you an example. I just wrote this down for understanding for people. I am from a psychological background. I'm a coach. I work in communication as per technical expertise because that's my forte. You're also having a psychological background. Let's say if I'm telling this line, let me read this out. We must cognitive dissonance by synchronizing our internal narrative with external vocal output. How many people would understand this? Right?
That's a heavy jargon.
Exactly. But I understand everything because I come from the field.
True.
So basically, what I'm trying to tell is, if you don't believe what you're saying, the room will not. That's all I'm trying to say. So this is what data dump is all about. You, just because you know the big words, the technical words, you don't have to use it. And a lot of people use it to sound very great. A lot of people think using big words is how I impress the other person. But the impressing is
Hmm.
going to happen when you connect with the crowd, when you connect with the person, which happens in the most simplest way. Also, adding on to the, one of the other questions you asked is why vocabulary isn't just the barrier, right? Vocabulary is more to do with the words, and it can be in any language. You can know as much as words you can, but if you can't explain your work or your business to a 5-year old, then you are definitely not clear of what you're doing. It has to be as simple as that. You can't use such big words for a 5-year old, right? So if you can
True.
tell it as simple as what you do to a 5-year old, then you know what you do. So that's as simple as how vocabulary is not exactly alone helps you, but using the right vocabulary to make the other person understand, connect with you is where you are going to continue the relationship in any form. So that's as
True.
simple as that.
True. So, Ash, do you observe this specifically amongst male professionals or founders or leaders or women leaders? Is there a clear distinction in the way you have you observed anything like this?
That's a controversial question because there is this ongoing conversation about why women are not on the top as much as men are and all these things. That's a ongoing topic. But that being said, this is a very common concept for men or women. It's has nothing to do with the gender. It's more to
Hmm.
do with the belief system. It is more to do with your own inside voice. That's exactly what I was talking about. Is that's what I focus on. It's the inside out system where
Hmm.
internal voices are something which is contrasting your external voice, or your
Hmm.
internal voice is getting too complicated that you're not able to tell the same thing externally outside. And this is the simplest concept that I think I got awarded also for the same thing, because the concept is so simple. And I think right now in this world anything simple is difficult. People
Absolutely.
are complicating everything as much as you can, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's the point.
So, I mean, this was actually my next question on to understand what a signature approach the inside out system is. Can you walk us through like most communication training focuses on external skills like body language, vocal tone, how is your approach different from the other communication training or the skill set training that happens?
Right. So, as we were talking about the inside out system, right? So, if you're talking about body language, as you asked me the question, the way I'm going to sit or stand or hold myself is because of all the things I think about myself. If I feel I am not feeling confident in that particular place, I wouldn't want to show up myself. I will try to stand somewhere back, or I'll be very quiet. I kind of invisible, right? And confidence is very situational. And
Hmm.
it's the same thing where a person in the body language, now, if I want to talk something very confidently, now I need to speak up myself. I need to stand in a particular way because your voice changes accordingly.
Hmm.
Anybody who's watching this can try practicing this in the phone. That's the most simplest. How many times when we speak to our close people, maybe they're lying down or sleeping or something like that, and we immediately ask, "Are you okay? Why do you sound low?"
Yes.
Right? That's because you're in a different position and your voice sounds different. And that is because your internal mind is somewhere else. You're in a most
Hmm.
relaxed, you're most in a calmer state. That's why you're sounding probably a little lower, not very excited or hyper or something like that. So that is what I focus on, specifically people who want to work on public speaking or confidence building, presentation skills. If you're representing your company, an entrepreneur or a leader, then you need to represent in a particular way where your mind is completely clear. That is when I can exactly talk and use the right words to connect with the people. So that's the reason my system of philosophy is inside out system, which personally I have experienced of how much it has helped me in my life personally and professionally, just clearing the clutter in my head. To keep it even more simpler, I would just give you an example like how we all listen to a phone call or a radio, but there is a lot of static noise. You will
Yes.
not be able to hear the music or the voice. And that's what happens to your mind, right? When there's so much of too much noise going on internally about yourself, the way you talk outside is extremely evident. You might not notice, but the other person notices.
True. True.
That's as simple as that.
It's almost like if you're not tuning into that right frequency, you all you can hear is static and that chatter and the noise that goes on.
Absolutely. In fact, if I can add on just one last point, a lot of people, I'm sure you connect with this, is people do affirmations, right?
Yes.
That's become kind of a new trend as well, where a lot of people do a lot of affirmations through the day or early in the morning as a daily routine. Every day morning, I am waking up any time of the day. I keep telling myself, I'm amazing, I'm beautiful, I'm fantastic, I'm confident, I'm great, etc., etc. But then this you're telling out outside.
Yes.
But this you're telling one part of the day, but the rest of the day, you doubt yourself, right? So it's contrasting. So that's
Absolutely.
exactly where the internal noise is something which is invisible for you, unfortunately. That is where you need to work on. Slowly, everything else around you, even your daily habits, activities, will start getting even better. Time management gets better, sleep gets better. Your even handling your priorities get better. And one more thing, I think a lot of people have this challenge is how to say no.
Hmm.
You don't know how
Yes.
to say no because you're confused yourself. So that's another big thing which happens with the process of clarity.
Wow. And when a client comes to you feeling stuck or voiceless, it could have been a possibility that they're very good at their skill set, their work, their the technical aspects of their work. But when it comes to presenting or creating an executive presence in some way, what is the first thing that you work on? What does the inside work look like before you even touch the outside part?
So this is a very good question. It depends on the client. So that's the reason I do purely one-to-one programs. So since I do one-to-one programs, every client there are two types. What happens is one, they are leaders. They already have achieved a lot. It's not something that I have to teach them something. I'm only showing them the path of clarity. I'm giving them the different perspective to look at different things. And since different leaders have different challenges, we start very differently. Let's say, for example, I've given one activity to a person as simple as even a gratitude writing, right? One person I might have given in the fourth session of mine, a different person I would have given it in the 10th session of mine because they're not still ready to do gratitude at the fourth session, right? So it works like that on how and whenever you're ready, that is when I'm going to give you the related activities. So the first thing I do
Hmm.
is do a discovery call where the person comes to me, and also this is for leaders and entrepreneurs who are accepting the fact of change, accepting the fact that there is something I can grow and learn, specifically to the communication perspective. And I personally believe all of us have scope to grow in communication in specific. And my personal belief is communication is no different than breathing oxygen, because it's you're doing it every day, all the time. Either you're talking to somebody, or somebody's talking to you, or you're talking to yourself. Right. So there is movement of communication all the time around you. So this is something which I discovered myself. I'm like, yeah, this happens all the time. So why don't we take it as important as oxygen? But again, both are invisible ones. So that's why to understand it or accept it is where it starts. And then the person comes to discovery. We start understanding what I can help them. Sometimes there are clients who are amazing, so I tell them, don't worry, you're amazing, you don't need any work. So I'll be happy to guide you, but you might not need sessions.
Hmm.
The continuity for this is where I started and launched my vocal lab.
Hmm. I'll be coming to the vocal lab. I am intrigued by that too. But just a quick one for someone listening right now who feels like their voice isn't heard, whether it is in their business or their team or even in networking spaces like Hen. What's one thing they can start doing today using your inside out approach that they
Very, very,
can do it for the next 30 days and you can ask them to focus on?
very simple and most favorite activity of mine. It's actually simple, but probably difficult, also very powerful, is recording your voice. So when I say record your voice, let's say tomorrow you have an important meeting. or you have a presentation or a client meeting, anything you want, two things you can do is one, prepare yourself a little bit on your notes. Like what points you want to talk specifically, what is the strategy you're looking for. Second thing, read out the points and see if you're sounding confident. Specifically for entrepreneurs, I would say this a lot of times when we are doing client meetings, we are amazing with our products and services. And I have met so many entrepreneurs having these great things. But when you talk about the pricing, the voice drops because you're not confident about your price. And also the second part is the fear. Like, am I high? Am I too high? Do I lose the client? That's one of the background noise which is coming into your mind. This will happen once you start believing in yourself, where your voice also starts sounding confident. So if you want to
Hmm.
be priced at a particular value and you think the value is right for what you give, then understand what you do. That is the inside clarity. Get a complete understanding why you're charging this. What is it I'm giving? What is it I get? Even if it's a company you're working for, if you're going to pitch something to someone, even a company, everyone is pitching to someone all the time, right? Give that clarity by preparing yourself and practicing. Just by preparing is not enough. Prepare, practice by recording your voice. That's it.
Interesting. And that's, I think, a very helpful tip. I feel a lot of us don't like our own voice when we
Absolutely.
hear it as a recorded voice. And I think this is a excellent tip to get used to hearing ourselves speak and start getting comfortable with it.
Very true. In fact, a lot of people, they don't accept themselves that, oh, do I sound like this? My voice doesn't
Yes,
sound like this. Because
true.
the little bit shines, a little background is when you listen to your voice in your mind, there is no pitch. So you don't understand the voice behind it. Only when it comes out, there's pitch and tone. So that's
Hmm.
why it sounds so different. And when you do it, trust me, it is so powerful and it's so enduring to understand that you need to work on yourself. That's my
I
personal
agree.
activity.
I agree. And I think personally, I have experienced this. I used to do podcasts earlier, and I used to feel so cringe sometimes that, oh, is this my voice? And then as I kept hearing my own podcast again and again, I felt like, okay, it's not so bad. But yes,
Exactly.
you come to know that, these are the places where I could have emphasized, these are the places where I could have used this tonality. But everything is a learning journey. And I think, like, how we talk to ourselves about, oh, I don't like my eyes, or I don't like my tummy, I don't like, it's the same way I don't like my voice. And I think we have to learn to be more kinder to ourselves and love ourselves for that, for who we are and what we are bringing
Very
out in
true.
life.
Very true. It all starts with the compassion.
Yes. Okay, Ash. So let's have some fun now. I'm going to give you a quick scenario or statement,
Hmm.
and you tell me what you hear. Is this someone with voice, or is this someone who's invisible?
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay.
All right.
So, my first statement is, I think maybe we could consider trying this strategy. Is this a voice or invisible?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I think maybe we could consider trying this strategy.
It is a combination of both, but the person needs to elaborate a little bit more. For
Okay.
somebody else to understand connect, they need to elaborate.
Okay. So, here's what I recommend we do. Is it a voice or is it invisible?
It is voice.
Someone who over explains every point.
Definitely invisible.
Someone who speaks first in every meeting.
It depends on type of the meeting, but if you want to create an impact, always be the last.
Okay. So, I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but
It's definitely invisible in a way that you're not clear.
hmm, silence when asked for their opinion.
Silence is actually powerful, but not giving an opinion can be invisible.
I apologize for interrupting, but
Definitely invisible. You don't want to break the other person's flow.
someone who asks powerful questions instead of making statements.
Voice, definitely voice.
Wonderful. So, one bonus tip, if you can give, what is the most underrated communication skill?
Underrated communication skill is the silence, which I just said. Listening, power of silence. A lot of times, people use fillers because you're scared of the silence. That's where you doubt yourself or you sound doubtful because of the fillers. So power
Since
of
you
silence.
asked,
Sorry,
yeah,
yes.
since you spoke about the fillers, what is that one filler word that if you could ban, would it be?
A lot of people use like. They start the sentences like or I think. Most of the sentences they start with I think we should do this, I think that, or they'll be like. Ums and ums are common, but
Hmm.
words as a filler is where the doubt will increase
Hmm.
because the words have different meanings for everyone and words are
Yes.
very powerful. So that's where avoid filler words which are actual words. Ums and ums are still can be reduced, but changing a word is very difficult.
Wonderful. So, coming back to the voice lab, I told I wanted to discuss about what is this sorry, the vocal lab. My bad. Let's talk about the vocal lab. You describe it as an elite community for alpha leaders. Uh, is it coaching? Is it peer learning, accountability? What is it? What just tell us what makes this community different from other professional development or networking groups.
So, one of the main reasons I wanted to start the community is to keep it more of a learning transformation rather than most of the groups where I think most of us are happens more for networking or more
Hmm.
for sharing visiting cards types, right? So, I wanted a community where there's not much of random conversations happening, more organic conversations specific to communication. So why it is elite is because it's a private community. Access is only after curation. And also the community is for selected leaders and entrepreneurs at particular level of their experience. And it's a close community where even the so this is one thing which I started practicing is it's open only 2 days of a week. Other 5 days it's admin only. So again, why 2 days of the week is even if you have thoughts for 5 days, keep it to yourself. Learn to
Hmm.
have the patience and have the silence and process it
Yes.
before it comes out. Right. So that itself is a practice. So there are only 2 days open. So the difference is we are a transformation community more than a networking community.
Interesting. So, Ash, as we wrap up now, can you give our hen community one or two golden takeaways on how to stop being invisible and start being heard, especially for women founders here, because they don a lot of hats, a lot of roles, a lot of labels, and who are building their businesses and their brands.
Right. So hen community is someone where we have amazing people with products and services. I have personally met a lot of people. Only thing I tell a lot of women is unfortunately we have this conditioning of doubting ourselves as women. As generally as women, we are doubting ourselves to be the best at everything we do because that's what is told to us. You have to be the best mom, best wife, best sister,
Yes.
best everything. Right. So we put that weight on ourselves too much. Sometimes we need to understand when do you start compassion to yourself, and that's why you started your company. So start understanding the reason behind why you started the company. That's where your inside clarity will start coming out. And what is it you stand out for? I'm sure everybody has competition in all the businesses, but of course you have something unique. Find that unique thing what it is and start creating your mission and vision, which is for you exclusively for your company. That is something I tell all the women. Once you have mission and vision, at least you know where you're going. You have a path to go and you have a path to guide you with your mission and vision. Okay, this is what I started, this is the reason I have want to go forward. So every time you have something coming, maybe confusing as well, you can go back and look at your mission and vision. Okay, why did I start the company? This is what it is, so let me stick to this. And this also helps you to start saying no because it's not connecting to my vision and vision. So that's the difficult part actually. So my two cents would be simple as start understanding why you started the company, and start understanding what is that you are best at, you are great at for the company. And just one personal suggestion for all the women: don't be too hard on yourself.
Absolutely. I think the last one goes very
Right.
strongly. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes we unconsciously do that to ourselves.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you, Ash, for that golden takeaways. And
Thank
before we open for Q&A, just tell us how can our listeners who are or viewers who are watching this right now connect with you if they're ready to find their voice and amplify their impact.
It's very simple. There are two ways of connecting. One, you can see me on LinkedIn, which is Ash Pesala, the name. And second thing is, if you want to comment on this link, you can just comment as clarity. I will reach out to you. I'll send you an authentication form for the Vocal Lab where you can take it from there. And always happy to connect in the hen community as well. So you can use the hen community. That is also an amazing platform for networking. But Vocal Lab is more about finding you the edge of making you understand how you can work on your inside out system, just with daily 5 minutes tip and practices which comes on the community every day. So that is going to be your own learning at your own pace. So just comment clarity on this video, or you can reach me out on LinkedIn as Ash Pasal.
Brilliant. And Ash is there on the Hen platform, so please do connect with her on the platform too.
Thank you.
And if there are any questions that we can quickly take up, do we have any questions from the viewers? Rajni says, very interesting session. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Rajni. Shweta says, love the point of power of silence.
Thank you so much.
Gunjan asks, any tip on cutting the inner chatter or judgment while speaking?
Practice, as I mentioned already. If you prepare and practice, the chatter will not happen because you know what you're talking.
Yes. Mukesh says, wonderful topic at the right time.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mukesh.
Any other questions?
No, I think no. Lucy says this was interesting. No more questions as of now.
Thank you so much,
So I
Tanu.
think thank you so much, Ash. Thank you so much for being so candid and coming forth, very heartfully sharing each and every tip and takeaway, for bringing such powerful insights to our community today. And you have reminded us that our voice isn't just about speaking, it's about clarity, it's about confidence that we carry within ourselves first. And to everyone listening, you have a voice, you have a message, and the world needs to hear it. But first, you need to hear it clearly. If today's
Absolutely.
conversation, if today's conversation resonated with you, reach out to Ash and explore TalkTune. Check out the Vocal Lab if you are ready to step into your alpha leader energy. And remember, Hell is here as your foundation community, and Vocal Lab can be your next level leadership accelerator. See you at the next Hen Live, where we'll continue to rise together. Thank you so much, and we sign off.
Thank you so much, Tanu. Thank you everyone for watching. Thanks.
Thank you.